The 80s were a decade full of incredible music, unique fashion, and technological advances. But if there's one thing that truly defined that era, it was the cars. While many of those models became true icons on the road, you'd be surprised to learn that some of them completely vanished. In this video, I bring you the top 12 cars from the 80s that faded into oblivion. Ready to travel back in time? Buckle up and join me because we're about to hit the road. Chevrolet Corvette C4, 1984. Let's start with the Chevrolet Corvette C4, a car with such a futuristic and modern design that everyone back in the day dreamt of getting behind the wheel of one. Manufactured between 1984 and 1996, it marked an important evolution for Chevrolet's iconic sports car with its aerodynamic design. It featured an all-new chassis and a V8 engine that made it stand out from the competition. However, its popularity began to fade right at the start of the 90s. This was mostly due to criticism regarding its ride comfort, especially in versions like the Z51, which led some consumers to look for more comfortable alternatives in other sports car models. Furthermore, technological advancements and the growing demands of the market ultimately led to its discontinuation in 1996. The C5 arrived the following year, leaving the C4 behind, which remains a symbol for many car enthusiasts. While this car had a sad end, not all the cars on this list met the same fate. Exclusivity also plays an important role, and that's exactly what happened with the next model. Ferrari 288 GTO, 1984. When we think of forgotten cars, Ferrari isn't the first brand that comes to mind. But interestingly enough, it was Ferrari themselves who gave this model a short life. The 288 GTO became even more of a legend due to its limited production, with only 272 units being made. Why so few? Well, it was originally developed to compete in the Group B of the World Rally Championship at that time. To meet the competition's homologation requirements, the FIA demanded Ferrari produce at least 200 units, and that's exactly what they did. However, just when they were ready to race, the category was canceled, and Ferrari had no choice but to halt production and sell the cars they had already made. But, as they say, every cloud has a silver lining, and Ferrari knew exactly what to do with that failed venture. Quickly, the brand turned the 288 GTO into a collector's piece, initially valued at $50,000, but that price has skyrocketed over the years to well over $3 million. Now, let's get back to cars with sad endings. And I can assure you, the one coming up is even more tragic than the last one. Ford Thunderbird, 1983 to 1988. The Ford Thunderbird was a great coupe, designed to be the king of luxury and power. This iconic American model was produced in various generations, from 1955 to 1997. Although it was hugely popular at the time, people started leaning more towards sedans and SUVs, leaving two-door coupes like the Thunderbird behind. Over the decades, Ford failed to achieve the expected profit from the model, which led to the decision to discontinue the car and focus on other, more promising projects. But you'll be surprised to hear that the story doesn't end there. In 2002, Ford attempted to revive the Thunderbird with a retro design to tap into nostalgia and secure the anticipated profits. Sadly, it didn't regain its popularity and was ultimately discontinued in 2005. Honda CRX-Psy, 1988. The sporty version of the Honda CRX was a huge success among car enthusiasts. With its 1.6-liter engine and lightweight design, the Honda CRX-Psy was a favorite throughout the 80s and 90s. But like the Thunderbird, the demand for more practical cars grew, and SUVs took over the market. Additionally, new environmental regulations led many manufacturers to reconsider their product lines. Honda wasn't far behind in this shift. The company decided to focus on models like the Civic, and the CRX eventually faded away. What's interesting is that today, it would be a perfect classic for collectors, but not as much as the next car you're about to see. Mazda RX-7, 1988. The Mazda RX7 was one of those technological gems that car enthusiasts will always remember. This car had a unique design that set it apart from other sports cars of its time. However, its mechanical complexity ended up being its downfall, as maintaining and repairing it was costly and tricky. The RX7 was produced from 1978 to 2002 and went through multiple generations. What truly set it apart from other sports cars of its time was its technology. It featured advanced suspension that improved handling on corners, along with an aerodynamic design that made it even more appealing. But despite all these advancements, the RX7 was discontinued in the late 90s due to the same factors as the others. People wanted fewer sports cars and more sedans, while emission regulations became stricter, raising maintenance costs. As a result, Mazda focused on more profitable models. You probably didn't expect a sedan to make this list, but get ready because the next one will surprise you. Mercedes-Benz 190E, 1984. The Mercedes-Benz 190 was the luxury sedan everyone wanted in the 80s. Manufactured from 1982 to 1993, it stood out for its elegance and comfort. But undoubtedly, what made this Mercedes-Benz truly special was its suspension, which ensured a smooth and stable ride. It also had a high-quality interior with leather seats and power steering. Being the favorite among those who were done with sports cars, no one, not even Mercedes, could have predicted its decline. But that's exactly what happened at the end of the 90s. Despite its success, the 190E was discontinued because market preferences changed. People began looking for smaller, more compact cars, and Mercedes-Benz decided to replace it with the C-Class, which offered more advanced technology and a more modern design. Up to this point, most of the cars on this list were launched and then quickly vanished. But you might be surprised to learn that in the 80s, there was a prototype so famous that it made many fans wish it had been released. Nissan M4, 1985 to 1987. The Nissan M4 was a concept that promised to revolutionize the supercar market. With all-wheel drive, futuristic design, and cutting-edge technology, this model seemed to have everything to stand out. Introduced in 1985, the M4 had a sleek, aerodynamic coupe design that caught attention for its style and performance. However, it never reached mass production and remained just a prototype in the annals of automotive history. You might wonder why that decision was made. Well, the answer is simple: fear of losing money. Despite its promising design and technology, the supercar market was fiercely competitive, and European brands dominated the segment. As a result, Nissan redirected its efforts toward more profitable and viable models. Although an improved version was planned, the MID4-2 was also cancelled. The MID4 remains a piece of automotive history, a glimpse into what could have been but never was. Toyota Cressida, 1982 to 1984. The Toyota Cressida was the quintessential Japanese sedan, a model that combined luxury and reliability. During the 80s, it became a favorite among families looking for more than just a regular sedan. Later models included features like ABS brakes and airbags, making it a safer option for family travel. However, over time, the Cressida lost its place in the market as newer, more modern models emerged, and it was discontinued in the 90s. Like with other brands, Toyota decided to focus on newer, more efficient models, leaving the Cressida behind as consumers began to prefer more compact cars. The automotive industry started catering to that shift, thinking of the consumers. Nothing could go wrong, right? Well, let's see next. Austin Metro Turbo, 1984. The Austin Metro Turbo was a compact car that made a name for itself with its attitude. In the 80s, when small cars were popular with the younger crowd, this model was a hit, especially because of its practical design. However, what made it famous also led to its downfall. As years went by, the Austin Metro Turbo lost its popularity because consumer preferences shifted again. Now, people wanted bigger cars. Moreover, Austin Rover faced financial struggles and had to reevaluate its strategy, leading to the Metro Turbo's discontinuation in the 90s. Unfortunately, this wasn't the only Rover model on the list that was discontinued after a decade of success. Rovervites, 1984. The Rovervites was another model that tried to combine sportiness with elegance. At the time, it was a sedan that many sports car enthusiasts considered a serious option. But just like the Austin Metro Turbo, the Rovervites couldn't maintain its relevance. As we've seen before, Rover went through a period of restructuring and financial problems, which led to the end of production for this model. The competition was fierce, and as new models with better features emerged, the Rovervites lost its place in the market. But honestly, it wasn't the brand that suffered the most in the 80s. If you don't believe me, let me tell you what happened with Triumph. Triumph Acclaim, 1984. If Triumph doesn't ring a bell, you're not alone. The Triumph Acclaim, which was initially praised for being a compact and affordable option, started to lose popularity when better options emerged. Despite offering good performance and comfort, it was discontinued by the late 80s, even though the Acclaim was produced until 1989. Triumph's financial difficulties led to the brand being absorbed by other manufacturers. It lost its place in the market, and the car became a forgotten part of automotive history. Not all cars from the 80s were meant to be buried in history, but the story of some models is truly a chapter lost to time, like our final car. Morris Ital, 1984. The last car on this list had to be another failed attempt by British Leyland. The Morris Ital was a compact sedan that aimed to be a practical and economical choice for its time, but stiff competition and market changes left it in the dust. The UK automotive market was rapidly evolving, and the Morris Ital just couldn't keep up with the new demands. Despite being a practical and functional car, its lack of innovation and the arrival of newer, more competitive models led to its quick discontinuation. Were you surprised to see so many incredible forgotten cars? The 80s gave us models that set trends, but they also taught us that not everything that shines lasts forever. Which of these 12 cars would you love to see back on the streets? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. See you next time.